The marketplace of Station Kepler 442 hummed with the usual cacophony of 1,000 species conducting their business. Neon signs flickered in languages both spoken and pheromonal, while vendors hawked everything from quantum processors to fermented nebula moss. It was here, among the throngs of the Galactic Coalition's finest traders and travelers, that Zixara tried her best to remain invisible. She wasn't particularly good at it. Her crystalline skin refracted light in ways that drew stares, and her 4 eyes, arranged in a diamond pattern across her face, marked her unmistakably as Kilthari. The Kilthari were known across the galaxy for 2 things: their exceptional mathematical minds and their recent catastrophic defeat in the border wars. 3 months ago, her people had attempted to claim a disputed sector. 3 months ago, they had lost everything. Now being Kilthari meant being a target. "Hey, Crystal Face." A dromath merchant, his scales the color of rust, deliberately knocked into her shoulder. His companions laughed, a sound like grinding gears. "Lost your war fleet, did you? Maybe you should have counted better." Zixara kept her eyes downcast, clutching her data tablet closer to her chest. She had come to the station as part of a refugee work program, assigned to inventory management for a shipping company. The pay was minimal, but it meant survival. It meant she didn't have to return to the refugee camps on Kilthar's shattered moon colonies. "I said, did you hear me?" The dromath stepped into her path. She tried to move around him, but another alien, a Vexian with too many teeth, blocked her other side. They were herding her toward the wall, away from the main flow of traffic. Zixara's hearts hammered in her chest, both of them beating an irregular rhythm of fear. "Please," she whispered, her translator barely catching the word. "I don't want trouble." "Trouble?" The dromath laughed. "Your people brought trouble to the entire sector. Cost me 3 shipments when your fleet blockaded the trade routes. I think you owe me." This wasn't the first time. There had been other incidents over the past weeks. Drinks poured on her clothes, accidental shoves, slurs muttered just loud enough for her to hear. The station security rarely intervened. The Chilthari had no allies left, no treaties to protect them. They were fair game. The dromath's hand reached for her tablet. That tablet contained her work assignments, her credentials, her access codes. Without it, she would lose her job. Without her job, she would be deported. Then someone cleared their throat. "I think the lady asked you nicely to leave her alone." The voice was calm, almost conversational, but it cut through the marketplace noise like a blade. Zixara looked up to see a human standing a few meters away. He was unremarkable by human standards, medium height, dark hair, wearing the practical jumpsuit of a cargo hauler. But there was something in his posture, in the way he stood with his hands relaxed at his sides, that made the dromath hesitate. "This doesn't concern you, human," the dromath growled. "Walk away." The human tilted his head slightly. "See, that's where you're wrong. It does concern me, because I don't like bullies, and I especially don't like watching 3 grown beings gang up on someone half their size." The Vexian hissed, displaying those numerous teeth. "You should learn when to mind your own business. Humans may have won your little war with the Gendari, but that doesn't make you invincible." "Invincible?" The human smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "No, we're not invincible. We're just stubborn. Really, really stubborn. And do you know what happens when we see something we don't like? We tend to do something about it." He took a step forward. Just 1 step, but somehow it changed the entire dynamic. The dromath and his companions shifted their weight uncertainly. "Here's what's going to happen," the human continued, his voice still that same conversational tone. "You're going to apologize to the lady. Then you're going to walk away and not bother her again. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Or what?" The dromath tried to sound threatening, but Zixara could hear the uncertainty creeping into his voice. "Or I'll file a harassment complaint with station security, get surveillance footage from about 6 different angles, and make sure your trading license gets suspended for the next standard year. Then I'll call my friends in the Haulers Union, and we'll make sure every human cargo ship knows exactly which merchants like to harass refugees. See how your business does when you lose access to Earth's shipping lanes." The dromath's scales rippled with indecision. Humans were relatively new to the Galactic Coalition, only 50 years since first contact, but they had made quite an impression. Their world was a death world by galactic standards, and they had adapted to space trade with an efficiency that bordered on frightening. More importantly, they had a reputation for collective action. Mess with one human, and you often found yourself dealing with dozens more. This isn't over, the Dromath finally muttered, but he was already backing away. His companions followed, disappearing into the crowd. The human watched them go, then turned to Zixara. His expression softened immediately. You okay? Zixara stared at him, all four eyes wide. In her language, there were 17 words for gratitude, each with subtle variations of meaning and intensity. Her translator struggled to find the equivalent in common. Thank you, she managed. You didn't have to do that. Sure I did. He extended his hand in the human gesture of greeting. I'm Marcus Chen, by the way. I haul freight between here and the inner colonies. She carefully placed her hand in his, marveling at the warmth of his skin. Humans were surprisingly warm-blooded for a species from such a mild world. Zixara, I work in inventory management. Well, Zixara, I've got a proposition for you. My company is looking for someone good with numbers and logistics. The pay is better than whatever you're making now, and we don't tolerate harassment. Interested? Yes, absolutely. Marcus smiled, and this time it was genuine. Good. Also, I know a few other humans on the station. We have a sort of informal network. We look out for people who get pushed around. If anyone bothers you again, you let us know, okay? As they walked together through the marketplace, Zixara felt something she hadn't experienced in months. Hope. The humans had a saying she'd heard before. Something about standing up when everyone else sat down. She hadn't understood it until now. The galaxy was vast and often cruel, but perhaps it wasn't entirely without kindness. And perhaps, just perhaps, humanity's greatest strength wasn't their endurance or their tactical brilliance. Perhaps it was simply their stubborn refusal to look away from injustice. Behind them, the marketplace continued its eternal dance of commerce and chaos. But for Zixara, everything had changed. She had found an unlikely ally in the most unexpected place, a human who had stepped in when everyone else had walked by. And in that moment, she understood why the galaxy was learning to respect humanity, one stubborn act of kindness at a time.